Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video we're gonna see how all of those DBMS concepts like views, indexes, and some part of PL-SQL works on Postgres. So let's start doing them. So let me create my query tool. Right. So now I'm trying to work with the table called players. Okay, let me run the script. Right. So this is the table that we have created in the last example, right? So we have this table. So okay, so in this video I would like to cover about views, indexes, and then we will see some sort of case study on normalization, and then we will go back to the PL-SQL and see how we can write procedures and things on a table. So let me start off with the most basic ones, and let me explain you how to create an index. So okay, uh, let me copy that. Yeah. Okay. So this is the syntax for creating an index, right? And you can see, okay, you can see how the DB. Okay. So this is our DB, right? So this is our schema. So this is my public schema. So initially, I don't have any views. Okay. I don't have any types. I don't have any procedures, and similarly, I don't have any indexes as well, right? So so let's so let so let's create one and see how it looks like. Okay, let me go back to my tables and open the query tool. Okay, okay, let me paste it. Right, so here I'm trying to create an index on my players table. Let me again see the players table. Let me run this first. Okay, so this is a table. Okay, now I am trying to create an index IDX player name on players table. Okay, on this table I want to create an index on this player name. Okay, as we have discussed, if a sum column is a primary key, right? If it is being used as a primary key, or it is a unique, okay, it has a unique and a not null constraint, then any DBMS by default is going to create an index on that column, right? So we don't have to explicitly create an index on this player ID, and eventually we don't have to create an index on this players table as well, since most of the retrieval will be done using the primary key. But if there is a case that, okay, most of the time I am trying to fetch using the player name, then I can create an index and make sure that my query executes faster, and as it's a more frequent query. Okay, so let me run this and see if an index gets created. Yes, an index is created. Okay, you cannot actually see how the index is created. So it will be created using a data structure called as B trees, and there are actually many other structures like GIMP, and okay, there are many ways it can be created, but as per the Postgres, it will be created in the form of a B tree, right? Okay, so we have created an index, so it should eventually improve the performance. So here we can see how it works. So it has took 91 milliseconds. So let me select the player name. Right, so it has taken 91 seconds previously, right? Now it's taking a bit more, but okay, it depends, but eventually it will have some sort of indexing that will eventually make it faster in real time. So when we are running it on a large set of data, we can actually see the difference that an index can improve the performance, right? So okay, I have created the index, and after some processing, okay, I feel like, okay, I don't okay from now on I don't think I need an index on the place table. Then how can I drop this index? So the same way, it's very simple. You just say drop index and the index name, right? Let me execute this and see if the index is dropped. Yes, we were able to successfully drop the index. So this is how you create and drop indexes on a table, right? The next one that I wanted to show you is how to create views and okay, why views are needed. Okay, views are actually they can be seen as a stored queries, right? Here we are writing some sort of query, right? So instead of such a simple query, let me say I'm actually fetching some sort of information about a specific player. Then I have to write a big query. I have to join a lot of tables, but then okay, there is no way I can reuse that query. It won't be stored in the database, right? But if I create a view of it, I can call that view any number of times, and it is going to execute the same steps for me. So that's actually one of the use case of the views. The other use case is that it is used to provide some sort of abstraction of the table. We can only let the other users see only some specific part of the table. So that's for another instruction. So let's see how to create an index and okay, let's see how to create a view. I have got this code. Okay, so here what am I trying to do? I'm trying I'm trying to create a view. So we have to say create view, and I have to name the view. So this is called as player performance, and I have to use this keyword called as. Okay, so as, and then I have to provide whatever the DML statements I wanted it to execute. I am going to provide it. Okay, so let me select this and execute this, right? Okay, it says ps dot gets taken is, so gets taken does not exist, right? Is it the case? Is it not present in the play stat? Let me check. Okay, so we don't have that. Okay, the wickets taken is not there, so I think we have to take it out. Okay, we have only created it up till the run score, so we are not bothered about that, right? Okay, eventually I think it should run now. So let from players previous. Why would it show something like that? Because okay, so we are actually using another comma. It's expecting another statement. Yeah, so we have successfully created a view. Okay, can I show you the view? Okay, it will be there in the file object, but we'll see later. Okay, so we have created a view. Okay, let me run it on some sort of so let me say we have Virat Kohli there, right? So let me call this on Virat Kohli. Okay, let me see if it works. Can it give me the performance of Kohli? Yes, it's giving me some view. It's giving me that okay, this is a player ID, this is the team he plays for, this is the match ID. In this match ID, he has scored 80 runs, right? So this is all the information about him. So for this, I have to merge a lot of people. Okay, to get the information of the team, I have to use this team table, right? And then for all the information about the match, I have to use this a player stat, right? So it is a complex query, right? It is a complex query. So for such complex queries, if you were to repeat them, you can use them. Okay, you can eventually create a view and use it. And there is actually another way of looking at it. If you don't want some other some other columns of a certain relation to be not exposed, right? Okay, let's say you don't want to expose the match winner or something, right? If you don't want to expose that, if you're not selecting it in the view, then it won't be visible, right? So whoever uh, is only given access to the view and not to the tables, he can only see whatever is given to him in the views. So in the view, we are only giving him those rows which are supposed to be seen. So in this way we are actually providing some sort of security as well as we are providing reusability, right? So this is how we create views. Okay, and let me see, can I okay, if possible, let's say the default workspace. Yeah, so here in this views column, do we have any view set? It shows none, but let's go to the object and refresh. Now I can see a view. So the view is called as player performance, which is what we created, and it will have some 5 to 6 columns, right? Yeah, so these are the columns, and there are some rules. Actually, the rules are actually pretty simple. It is only returning, but we can actually enforce some rules like it can only insert, it can only update only some set of records. Okay, we can enforce rules, and there are no triggers on it as of now. I will see how actually the triggers works as well in the later part of this video. So this is about the views. We can drop the view as well. We can drop the view. Okay, so we have a view, right? Okay, how can I call the view? I did call the view using this command. Will it still work? Because okay, yes, it will still work. Okay, might throw an exception because it is actually case sensitive. You have to be very careful if you're trying to, use. If you're trying to give a literal value, you have to be very careful, right? Yeah. Now I can see. Okay, the run score is 60. Match ID. The okay, the team, the player ID, everything's there, right? So it will eventually exist. But okay, let's say now I don't want to view. Okay, let me actually look at. Okay, let me show you some other ways we can create a view. We, okay, let me copy paste this thing. Yeah, here I have created a view called as top scorers. So it is selecting the player name and the sum of the runs scored as total runs. From the player stat, I'm going to fetch all the runs, and then from the player, I'm going to get his ID, right? And I'm going to order by this, right? Okay, I'm going to see who is the top scorer, and I'm going to order them on the amount of runs they have scored, right? So this is a complex view. Actually, this okay, the views that we have seen as of now, so these two are actually complex views because we are trying to fetch the data from multiple tables. If you're creating a view on a single table, we call them as a simple views. Simple views are actually used for the purpose of a security. They're not for usability, because a select statement works as good as a view. I mean, as good as a simple view, right? So the view is created, and okay, let me call something on it. So I think we have four of them, right? We have four of the top. Okay, let me get the top three run scorers. Okay, who are the top three run scorers? So it's Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and MS Dhoni. So these are the top run scorers of limit 3. If I say limit 5, will it throw me error? Because I don't think we have 5 players yet. No, it won't throw me error, but it will only fetch whatever the record set is supposed to. Okay, so this is good. So this is how you create views. So can okay, now how can we drop views? How can we drop view? It's actually the same syntax how we create sorry, how we drop the index. So we said drop a view and give the name of view. I'm gonna use the uh, top scorers, but I'm gonna remove this player performance view. Okay, if I execute this, will it be removed? Yes, the view is dropped. So we have seen about views and indexes. Now, okay, now let's get into some sort of PL-SQL and see how to create functions and okay, some things on the query on the tables. Okay, let me copy this procedure. Okay, uh, paste it. So here I got a procedure for this, right? So this is how we write a procedure. So it's a create or replace. So why are we writing or replace? Because if the same procedure already exists, and if we want to just replace whatever the statements inside the procedure, then instead of creating a new procedure, you can use a same old procedure and replace the content of it. So you can create or replace a procedure, and you are going to provide the name of the procedure, and then if you need any sort of parameters, you can provide them. And these parameters are actually of two types. I'm going to define it. There is an in parameter, there is an out parameter, and there is a in out parameter. A very interesting ones, but we'll see about them. But the default one is in. Any parameter is supposed to be in. We are not supposed to create out parameters because the procedure, okay, it allows you to return values. I'm not return values, but it will take an out parameter, it will fill it with some value, and you can use the out parameter wherever you call. So when you're calling, you have to create an out parameter, and you have to send it to this procedure, and this procedure is going to update that value, right? So why all this also use a functions instead, as the database is offer that as well. Okay, so now we are going to create, okay, so these are the input variables, and here you have to define what language that you're using, because a, a DBMS might support various levels of a PL-SQL. It might, as of now, the PostgreSQL, it supports Python as well as some other languages as well. So we have to define what language we are using, and we use the same keyword as, and this is important. We have to use this this marker to actually make this a block. So to actually let the interpreter understand that this is the block. So this is very much similar to the uh, curly braces that we use, right? It's very much similar. And then you say begin and end, and whatever's in between is going to be executed as a procedure. So what are we doing? So we are updating the player stat, and we are setting the runs code to new runs code, where the player ID is equal to the player ID. So this player ID is what we have. So this is what we got as an input, right? And then the match ID. Okay, in which match you are trying to update. Right? So I'm going to do it. I'm going to create this procedure. And actually, did I forget anything? Yes, we kind of forgot something, because even before ending, uh, we we have some other block. It is called as an exception block. It's actually not much use, because we can handle exceptions in this block, but it's rarely used, because the way we handle exceptions is it's actually a different story. We're not gonna go there. And this is a raise notice statement. So this will kind of, so this is very much similar to a DBMS output in Oracle. It's gonna show you some sort of output, and it's simple, because wherever you have placed this a percentile symbol, it will be replaced with this following values, right? Yeah, and yeah, that makes sense. For out parameter, I'm going to use another way. Okay, so let me create this procedure. Okay, let me run it. So the procedure is created. You can actually view that later in the file section. It will be available. Okay, a procedure once compiled, you can only call it, right? You cannot. Okay, whenever you call it is not going, it it is not going to be recompiled. It will use whatever that was previously compiled. Okay, so since we have created it eventually, so let's try to update some value. So remember that Rohit Sharma's score, oh no, it's actually a Virat Kohli score. So the Virat Kohli score was 80, but somehow due to some sort of a penalty by the umpires, we are supposed to decrease it by 5. So we are going to update it to 75. Is it possible? Okay, let's run this. As the procedure is doing the same, it should work. Yes, it says, okay, it says notice, as we have raised a notice. It says updated player 1 runs to 75 in the match 101. So this is exactly what we have wanted. So can I run this with any other player? Yes, you can do this. uh, in Eventually you have to use this keyword called call, uh, and any other DBMS might offer its own way of calling a procedure, but using call is an ANSI SQL syntax, so it's better to use call, right? So that it can be, it can be understood by developers of any database, right? So this is about the procedures, and I also wanted to show you about the in parameters and in out parameters. So what is an out parameter? So out parameter has to be provided by the user himself, by whoever the caller himself. He has to provide some variable, and using that variable I am going to replace it with after processing I can select into that variable so that it will get a value. Right, it seems almost useless, but okay, let me create a small procedure to let you understand how it works. So I'm going to create or replace, mm, okay, or let me say, what should I say, fill. Okay, this is a fill. It is going to take a variable called, or maybe, okay, let's say glass. Okay, it is an out parameter, and it is going to return a varchar. Okay, varchar of let's say 20. So this is my procedure. I'm going to create it as, okay, and let me say begin and end. Right, in between I'm just trying to, okay, I'm just trying to uh, fill that. Okay, I'm gonna select, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to, okay. I'm just gonna give the class a value. I'm gonna say it is equals to, okay, uh, 200 ml of water, right? Now let me call up, okay, let me create another procedure that is going to call this thing. Okay, let me create or replace tester. Okay, it is an empty procedure, right? uh, as, okay, here I'm going to introduce something new to you. So we do have another section called as declare. Okay, so in this declare session I can define some sort of variables that I'm going to use, right? So I'm going to declare a variable called class, right? And this class has to be of type varchar 20. That's it, and that's gonna be my only variable. Okay, now I'm going to begin, and in the begin I'm going to make a call to this procedure to fill the value. I'm going to say fill the class. Okay, fill my class with something. Okay, now can I okay, let me see if it actually worked. So this looks like a very silly example, but I think this is the way I can show you how the out parameter works. Okay, so now I'm going to raise a notice. I'm going to raise a notice and say, okay, after calling, okay, percentile, and I'm going to say glass. So initially it is empty, right? So we don't have any water, right? Or we can, okay, let me even assign it with some value. Varchar of 20 is assigned with empty. It is having the value empty, but now I'm going to uh, give empty here. Okay, Okay, yeah, still makes sense, right? So this is actually the syntax how you assign things. So it's not a simple equal to operator. You have to use this colon equals to operator for assigning some value, right? And keep a semicolon wherever possible, because since we are executing this as a whole, it will be easier for the interpreter to understand where the statement actually ends, right? Now let's create an end block and let's put an end to this, right? Yeah. And even we can use any some sort of clauses, like we can use if you we can use loops, we can do a lot of things, right? So let's create these two things. Okay, let me create this fill thing. Okay, what's an error? Let's see. Okay, sorry, we have to mention a procedure here. I forgot. Yeah, procedure, and the same here, because yeah. Now it should work. Let's see. No language specify. Oh shit, we actually forgot that. Okay, so we have to specify language. It's not going. Also, it won't consider some language as a default. We have to explicitly say which language that you want to use. It should work now. Okay, the procedure is created, right? So now let's run the tester. So let's discuss what the expected output is. So now we have an empty class. Now we are giving it to some procedure. It is going to do some processing, and eventually it is going to fill in that variable or whatever I sent, and it is going to return it back to me. Right? Let's see if it happens. Will it raise or not? Okay, it's created. Okay, now let's execute that. Okay, now let me call. So which one should I call? We have to call the tester only, because okay, let's call the tester. Okay, it says after calling got 200 ml of water. So eventually we can return value, but if you look at it, we haven't returned the value, right? So we have created a variable, and we assigned it to the procedure, right? We assigned it to the procedure, and the procedure has done something on the same memory location, so that when I am actually calling it here, whatever the updated value in that memory location is what is being retrieved to me. So this is similar to the call by value and the call by reference thing in C and C++, right? Yeah. And now, so we have seen a lot about the procedures. Let's see. Okay, so if I just have to return something, do I have to go through all of this process? No. We do have, and also there is another issue that we can only call a procedure using this call keyword. So that means that in our select statements we cannot use a procedure. We cannot you know if okay let's say there is a use case where for a certain column you want certain functionality to be done. So you have taken all that functionality and you have created a procedure, but now you cannot call it in a select statement. So uh, okay, it doesn't work. So to provide such functionality, they have created something called as functions. It is same as procedure. It is a very much same as procedure, but it has the ability to return a value, and it can be called from a select statement. So it can be used. So we use all these functions like max, min, average, count. So these are nothing but a Windows function, and there are many character functions like concat and tochar and date. All these functions. So functions are more versatile than procedures, but procedures are good when there is a lot of complex code. You use procedures. Otherwise, you use functions, right? So let me create a function to get the total runs code by player. Okay, let me go to the PL-SQL and let's see how a function looks like. It looks almost the same. Using create or replace, and the function keyword should be used, and the name of the function and the parameters. right? And then this, okay, this is one interesting thing. It returns something. What it returns? It returns an integer. So do we need to specify what variable it returns? No, but we have to specify what is the data type of its return type, right? And then you specify the language PL-SQL as, and you declare, as we had discussed, there will be a declared block where you can declare some variables, and then you begin. So we have written this query here. We use something called as collage. So what is this collage? Okay, so the runs code, right? So this column might have null values. Okay, what if it has null values? I cannot give a null value to the sum function, right? Because it's not ideal. So you're saying, if in this runs code, right, if we have any null values, collage that to the value 0, right? So that if it's a null, we are considering it as a 0. And now we are selecting it into our total runs variable, so it will be selected into this. Okay, if if it is a procedure, then we have to create this as an out parameter, and there should be another one calling it with we have to declare a variable somewhere else, and we have to provide it here so that it can be used here. But instead of all this, we can just return whatever the processed value that we have. So we can simply return the total runs and end it. Okay, let's try it out. Let's execute this. So okay, it's created without any issues. Okay, let me get the total runs of the player with player ID 1. What are his total runs? His total runs is 0. Okay, I don't know, I don't exactly remember what's happening in the player stat table. Okay, assume that these are the runs. Okay, there is no one with the ID 1, right? There is either 1 or 1 or something. Okay, let me execute this again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got 50. Okay, for the player 1 or 2, what will I get? Okay, there is oh, sorry, I have to execute this one. Okay, sorry. Yeah, 60. So yeah, so I'm getting runs based on it. So I'm actually using this in a select statement, right? So how is it useful? I can use the from clause, and I can say some other from some table X, from some table X, I can get this, and from the table X I can say, okay, that table X has some column called as a player ID, right? I can use the player ID, and I can pass it into this a select, and I can provide the function here. So using this, it is going to automate a lot of things for me, right? So it's a very important one. It's very similar to how min max works. So it's just a matter of name. I can name this as min, it becomes min, and I can provide whatever things, right? I can provide anything, right? So that's how it works. So this is about the functions. And okay, I think then in okay, in the next video somehow I'm gonna talk about courses, right?